Hello everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and I'm going to show you my example of the rock, paper, scissors game. Um, this is probably, well, I don't want to say it's my favorite project this first term, but it's close to it. This is a pretty fun project, and in this project you can be as creative as you want to be. Um, I changed from rock, paper, scissors to fire, earth, and water. I'm calling my game Elements, and I've updated the relationships, right? So fire actually melts earth, and earth can contain water, and water can drown fire, and vice versa. So that's how it works, right? Same basic idea as rock, paper, scissors, but I'm just changing what they are. And you can do anything you want. You can have like, animals or whatever you want to do, but change the rules of the game. Have some fun with this project. Don't just do a boring old rock, paper, scissors. Use something else. And if you're feeling really froggy, you could, instead of having 3 elements, have 5 elements. You can have, two more elements and then have the relationship where two things can defeat each element, but it also defeats two different things instead of just one. That's going to be complicated and that's going to be pretty hard to do, but man, I really hope one of you decides to take on that challenge because that's going to be really cool to see that program work. I just did 3 though. I'm going to show you what my program looks like. Let me go ahead and pull it up really quickly. All right, I'm going to increase actually, I'm going to increase this so it's easier for you to see. Okay, so my program looks like this. It says, "Welcome to the game of elements," written by Mr. Storm. And then I have the rules here. It says fire melts earth, earth contains water, water drowns fire. And then it tells me to choose water, fire, earth, or water. And so I will type in my choice here. I'll just choose fire and hit enter. So it says I chose fire, the computer chose earth, and so I won. Okay, so what it did was it used those if statements to say if the player chose fire and the computer chose earth, then I win, right? Um, Now there are many different ways to develop this program. Many, many, many different ways to develop the program. Let's run it one more time just to make sure you can see that I'm actually randomizing the fire, earth, or water. So let's do fire again. And so now I chose fire, they chose water, and I lost. Okay, so you're going to pull in a bunch of different skills. Let me open up a new project really quick, just because I want to cover a couple of points, um, just just to get you started on the right track, because this is kind of a big project. It's a bigger project than we've done so far. So I'm going to create a new project, and let's bring it over here so it's easier to see. Okay, so I have my new project here. Now, there's a couple things that you want to pay attention to. First of all, we need to create an array that holds all of our elements, whatever they might be: rock, paper, scissors, fire, earth, water, you know, chinchillas, giraffes, and hippopotamuses, whatever it is that you're going to do. So we need an array that holds those. We also need a random that picks, you know, a random index from the array, right? That now becomes that becomes the computer's choice, right? You want to give your user the ability to choose. So that's basically just creating a variable and then letting them type in their answer and storing it in that variable. Now, once you have a variable that is the computer's choice, that is a random index pulled out of that array, and you have a variable that is your user choice, then you can start comparing. Now, I'm going to write one of these if statements uh, just to show you kind of an easier way to build these, right? So let's assume we already have these variables, right? If, let's say, player is the variable that we're using for the player choice. So like the player chooses something and it gets stored into the player variable. Let's say if player equals fire, right? and computer or comp equals, let's see, what does fire destroy? Fire destroys earth, right? So that statement right there, if I choose fire and the computer chooses earth, then I've won the game. And I could finish this statement now. I could just go, you know, you you win, right? Put a console write line statement that says you win. But think about all the different combinations I'll have to write out for that. I'll have to write a player fire, earth, computer earth, a player fire, computer water, a player water, computer, you know what I mean? It's going to be a lot. So instead of doing it, taking up too much space on our program, here's what we can do. Let's wrap this statement in another set of parentheses. And then in between these two end parentheses, let's do an or. And then we'll write another statement. Let's say player equals earth and computer equals, so what does earth beat? Earth beats water, right? And then we'll close that parentheses, or player equals water and computer equals fire. Okay, so now at this point, I have all of my win conditions in one long conditional. What this, and the way the logic is going to work on this is, let's say I did choose fire, right? And it says if player equals fire, okay, and the computer chose earth. If the computer did choose earth, then this statement equates to true, right? This whole statement, true, which means, so that statement equates to true. Did I choose earth? No, so that's false. And did I choose water? No, so that is false as well. But because these are or statements in the middle here, only one of these statements has to be true in order for this entire statement to be true, right? So I actually won the game, right? So let's go back. So as long as one of these statements equates to true, let's do that again. Let's say I choose earth, right? Or water. Let's say I choose water. So player equals fire. Nope, that's not true. So that's going to be false. And let's say player chooses water. So did I choose earth? Nope, I chose water. So that's false as well. Let's say I chose water and the computer chose fire. Well, in that case, I did win. So that would be a true, right? Which means false or true. One of these statements is true, which means the whole thing is true because they're linked by or statements, right? Perfect. Okay. Now, in order to catch all of the loss statements, all we have to do is copy and paste. We can just copy this, paste it, and then just change these variables around. So if I choose fire, what would kill fire? Well, water will. Okay. If I chose earth, what would kill earth? Well, fire will. And if I choose water, what kills water? Earth does. Right? So that is basically what you need for the logic for this game to figure out if you win or if you lose, right? Now, if you understand those steps, then you will easily be able to build this game. Essentially, I've just developed the entire core of the game for you just here. You need to do everything else around it, and you need to write these statements correctly and think about the logic behind your game and how it actually works in order to make this game pull off without a hitch. All right. There are some other things you need to account for. You need to account for the fact that if I choose fire and the computer chooses fire, well, that's a draw. So you need to figure out how to account for that. You also need to figure out, oh, by the way, this would be an else if. You also need to figure out what happens if, the player types something that isn't one of the options, right? If I type, boogers instead of fire or water or earth, you got to be able to handle that as well. So I'm going to let you figure out all that on your own, but that's a huge help right there. I just wanted to show you this statement because it can be a little bit gnarly to try to work out the logic of this. So I wanted to go over this really quickly with you so that you can um, actually see what this logic might look like. All right, that's it for me. Go forth and create awesome programs. I can't wait to play your rock paper scissors ripoff games. Thank you for paying attention, and I'll see you next time.